Hello dear viewers, you're watching ERi-TV English news broadcast with me, Bersabet Tagle. These are the major headlines for today. Eritrea is participating at climate change conference. Preparation finalized to conduct cervical cancer vaccination program in Ansaba region. Australia's southeast remains on flood watch as river levels peak. And NASA's next generation Artemis mission heads to Moon on debut test flights. On your local reports, Eritrean senior delegation led by Mr. Tesfaye Gebreselassie, Minister of Land, Water and Environment, and comprising Mr. Fasil Gebreselassie, Eritrean ambassador to Egypt, is participating at the climate change conference that's being held in Sharm el-Sheikh, Arab Republic of Egypt, from 6 to 18 November. In his address to the conference on 15 November, Minister Tesfaye said that, notwithstanding the optimism-inspiring said objectives and many promises made in subsequent conferences of the parties, as well as the ever-growing concerns and demands of billions of people, it is distressing and dismal that actions taken so far have not been commensurate with the gravity of the existential threat the world is facing due to global warming and overall environmental degradation, indicating that Eritrea's emission has ever been very negligible and because of its geographical position has been among the countries most impacted by climate change. Minister Tesfaye said that Eritrea is working to combat climate change by focusing on nature-based activities that enhance resilience and adaptive capacities of communities through protecting, conserving and restoring terrestrial and marine ecosystems, protecting biodiversity, soil and water conservation, and controlling land degradation. Minister Tesfaye also called for immediate and drastic emission reduction of greenhouse gases to be made, especially by G20 parties, double the provision of adaptation fund by 2025, adaptation of finance and operational modalities and structures to address loss and damage inflicted by climate change, as well as enhance concessional and grant financial support for just energy transition investments for renewable energy and low carbon programs and projects at scale for energy poor countries to enhance energy access. Minister Tesfaye further noted that the historical relevance of the UNFCCC COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh will depend on its being able to rebuild trust and revive lost hopes, and by taking all together from pledges and promises to implementation. The Ministry of Health branch in Ansaba region reported that preparation to conduct cervical cancer vaccination program at regional level from 21 to 25 November has been finalized. According to the office, cervical cancer vaccination is expected to be provided to over 38,000 females from 9 to 15 years of age from 272 centers in all the subzones of the region. At the meeting conducted on 11 November in Keren City, Mr. Tesfaye Girmay, Director General of Social Service in the region, called on all concerned institutions and partners to play due part in the effective implementation of the program, pointing out that the Ministry of Health is earnestly working to attain over 95% vaccination coverage of all types at national level. Mr. Samuel Tesfa Lu'ul, head of vaccination program in the region, said that the cervical cancer vaccination is part of the overall vaccination program. At the meeting, briefings on the causes and consequences as well as treatment were provided by concerned experts. On your last local report, community-based environmental sanitation program with a view to control the prevalence of communicable diseases due to lack of sanitation has been fully implemented at Emarat Administrative Area Fortosawa subzone. Nurse Haile Hayelom, head of health service at the subzone, indicating that the popular campaign has significant contribution in curbing the prevalence of communicable diseases that could occur due to the lack of sanitation, said that effort will be exerted so that the remaining administrative areas in the subzone will implement the program, pointing out that the effort to encourage all villages and administrative areas in the subzone to implement the community-based environmental sanitation program has resulted commendable achievement. Mr. Abubakar Mahamoud, administrator of the subzone, called for strengthened effort for better outcome. The viewers, do stay with us for the international news after the short break. Welcome back. Flood-weary residents across Australia's southeast rushed to fortify their properties with sandbags today as water continued to flow from overloaded dams and swollen rivers. Heavy rain over 3 days into Monday burst into riverbanks, unmoored houses, submerged bridges and cut off entire towns in the rural southwest regions of New South Wales, the worst affected state, and northeast parts of Victoria. Emergency crews have rescued hundreds of residents in New South Wales by helicopters and boats, with some clinging to trees and rooftops. But there were some signs of relief, with floodwater receding in some places and rescue team including Defence Force personnel and volunteers from New Zealand clearing debris. Australia has been devastated by frequent floods across its east over the last 2 years due to a multi-year La Nina weather phenomenon, typically associated with increased rainfall. Some regions have endured 4 major flood crises since last year. On today's last report, NASA's towering next-generation moon rocket blasted off from Florida early today on its debut flight, a crewless voyage inaugurating the U.S. Space Agency's Artemis exploration program 50 years after the final Apollo moon mission. Named after the ancient Greek goddess of the hunt and Apollo's twin sister, Artemis aims to return astronauts to the moon's surface as early as 2025. The 32-story Space Launch System rocket surged off the launch pad from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral at 1:47 a.m. in order to send its Orion capsule on a 3-week test journey. About 90 minutes after the launch, the rocket's upper stage fired thrusters for a translunar injection burn, propelling Orion out of the Earth orbit on the course for the moon. That put the capsule on track for a 25-day flight that will bring it to within 97 kilometers of the lunar surface before sailing 64,374 kilometers beyond the moon and back to Earth. Dear viewers, you're still watching us on ERi-TV, and now recap of today's major headlines. Eritrea is participating at climate change conference. Preparation finalized to conduct cervical cancer vaccination program in Ansaba region. Australia's southeast remains on flood watch as river levels peak. And NASA's next-generation Artemis mission heads to moon on debut test flights. Dear viewers, that was it for today. Thanks for watching and have a good one.